So every time that Isabel talks to one of her imaginary friends, I'm starting to believe that she's actually trying to get her own spin-off series, but instead of it being called The Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, it's called The Crazy Alien Widow. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach to Nerd, and in this episode we are reviewing Roswell Season 2, Episode 3, entitled Good Mother. So, I think that title is very appropriate for this episode. Sometimes you'll have CW shows where they'll just have like a random title and it has nothing to do with the content. But Good Mother actually is a good title for a lot of this series because honestly, a majority of our characters don't have good relationships or living or very good mothers. So yeah, even the ones that have good mothers, they're just doing a little too much, like Kyle's mother, Sheriff Valenti. But yeah, so mother drama. We have Isabel's mother who's overbearing and not really, understanding that her daughter is an alien who's pregnant and just needs time for herself. We have Liz's mother who abandoned them when they were children, her and Rosa and the father. Kyle Valenti's mother, who is the sheriff of the town, and we really don't know how much she knew about her, late husband's death and what went on with Kyle, with Alex's father. Then we also have Izzy being pregnant. And her being pregnant is all basically, let's be fair. That's a whole other motherhood struggle. Then we have Maria's mother, who basically is either continuously abducted by aliens or completely out of her mind. And of course, then we have Alex's mother that we know nothing about. I don't know where Alex's mother is. I think they mentioned it maybe in season 1 or something, that she may have died or left. I don't know. If I was married to that bunghole, I would have left too. But yeah. It just seems like every story of every mother, even with Michael's mother, being murdered, and tortured all those years because she's an alien, which is probably what happened to Isabel and Max's mother, but we will get to that. So yeah, very good title. So the episode itself, a lot happened. That's what I like about Roswell. It just doesn't do like one thing. It like a lot of major stuff blows up. But 2 things that stood out to me in this episode is, number 1, Cameron is back, which is awesome. And number 2, there's a character in a flashback named Tripp, I believe the name was, who is played by Jason Beer, who it just happens to be the original Max from the original Roswell series. So very cool, especially since Sherry Appleby, who played Liz in the original series, is one of the directors of this show. So that's pretty cool. And more than likely, I didn't check the credits, but she probably directed him in this. So that's a little cute reunion. So yeah, Cameron is back. She finds Maria's mother walking along the highway, takes her into the sheriff, to Valenti. And, Sheriff Valenti does the whole, I'm sorry I had to let you go, blah, blah, blah. Because basically at the end of season 1, Cameron took the blame for everything that Noah did and the gunfire and stuff. Not what he did, but using her gun, excessive force and all that stuff, and she was let go. She lost her job with the sheriff's department in Roswell, which sucks because she's a really cool character, especially since she was sleeping with Max and had a thing for Max. So she lost her boyfriend and her job, all pretty much at the same time, even though she kind of knew he was into Liz, but yeah, drama, CW. So yeah, Cameron is back. And she basically is there because she doesn't know at this point that Max is, I don't want to say dead because he's not, so I'm going to say half dead. She doesn't know that he's clinging to life in a pod. So she runs into Michael because Valenti tells her that, Max is MIA. And she's like, wait, what? So she tells Michael, all the stuff that she sacrificed to help them. And he's not even going to trust her. And if you lose if you don't trust your allies and you don't talk to your allies, and you don't have allies, which is true. So he sends her to the Indian boarding school that they're using as our Native American boarding school that they're using as Liz's, lab to try and find a way to save Max. And so her and Liz have a very cool bonding moment where they just talk about Max, and they're both grieving, which is pretty sad, especially, I said it last week, I'm going to say it this week. Janine has a very expressive face, And so her acting is, I love her acting anyway, but it's just so much more believable. And there's a scene where she's bonding and they're talking about Max, where she lets her anger out about how dare Max bring her sister back without talking to her. That was not a choice that he should have made. It was her sister. And Cameron's like, well, would you have stopped him? And they're like firing weapons. And so, just doing like shooting, basically a mock or make their little self-made shooting range. And she just starts shooting the gun. And she's like, some choices you should never have to make. And it's so true. Like Liz in this series has had to, like, she's been put in positions that are just impossible. Like the guy she likes is the same guy that set her sister up for the murder of the two girls that were in the car when it was Noah, but they were protecting Isabel because Noah was influencing Isabel, which Max has always had a thing for Liz. So it's like, wow, you basically made my family the most hated family here, but I still love you. So it's very, very interesting. Like, honestly, Liz is always in impossible situations, and she's put in impossible situations. So my heart goes out to her. But yeah, so like they have this whole bonding thing. At the same time, we see Michael and Maria are kind of like in their kind of couple, kind of not couple stage, where he makes her an omelet and they actually have a small little conversation that Isabel interrupts. And then of course Maria finds out that her mother is found, and she, her mother at this point has been gone for a month. And she basically, Michael offers to drive her, and she's like, nah, I'm not letting you meet my mother. And I'm like, that was interesting. But Isabel makes a comment of how she used to be found wandering around the desert too, with no memory of where she's been. And so Michael's like, Noah's dead, no one's doing this or influencing her. It's not the same thing. She has memory problems. But actually, Isabel has a point. When Maria gets to the hospital, they basically tell her that her mother is like healthy and hydrated and all of this stuff, but doesn't know where she's been. But which is interesting to me, and I'm sure a lot of you caught it, there were these like sky blue and white boots sitting on the chair. And Maria says, oh, when Cameron found you, basically, did she lend you those boots? And her mother's like, no, these are mine. Where did she get these boots from? Who gave her these boots? If she was abducted by aliens, why do they have a shoe store? I don't understand. So I think there's more going on. They're making it look like she was abducted. I mean, she could be, honestly, but they're making it look like it is. So I think there's actually something else going on. And I love that when Cameron found her, she's like, where have you been? And she like points up, which is such an homage to Max when, Liz asked Max in the original series in the first episode where they were from, and he just points up. I thought that was interesting. At least I thought. That was my little squee moment. But yeah, so I don't know where Maria's mother got the boots from, and it's just another mystery that is Roswell, New Mexico, but yeah, so moving on, Izzy is still taking the alien poison, and she was taking a small amount. So apparently it has been a month and she's still pregnant. So she's upped the dose, and she keeps having hallucinations about Max. And Max is like basically trying to talk her out of doing this. You're going to die. Your organs are going to shut down. You almost didn't make it before. And Isabel she does make a point. So she doesn't want to have this baby. And no matter how you feel about abortion, I'm putting it on the side because I don't like to get political on this channel. She basically says that she can't go to Kyle, who basically is the only doctor who knows that they're aliens, about her alien uterus, because basically what would he know? And that's true. I mean, granted, he has been examining his dead sister of 8 years or 10 years, but she's still human for the most part. Isabel, as the biology of their bodies are so complex and different. What does he know about? Not only if she were to have the baby, taking care of a pregnant alien or terminating it. So yeah, I kind of get where she's coming from. So she feels like she needs to take care of it herself, but she's doing it by what basically Max is calling a coat hanger alley abortion. So yeah, and I will say those scenes between them are just because, the twins are just, as they say in the series, they don't choose anyone over each other. So it's just really cool to see how they bonded, or how strong their bond is. Because even though Max is half dead, he still can feel her. And when she like gets to the point where she's bleeding, like there's blood everywhere, she's supposed to take the antidote, to kind of counteract the effects of the poison and stop it from killing her. But she passes out and she hits her head on the table and knocks herself unconscious. And yeah, so Max, obviously, Spirit Max can't do anything, so he goes to Rosa, who has been drinking to get him out of her head, but he's so strong now he can do it while she's awake. And he convinces her to get help, which of course Rosa calls Liz, and then Liz ends up going over there and injecting her. But it's like there's so much in that, like so many things, like how strong, Max is getting, and we don't know why his connection to Rosa is so strong, why he's able to feel what he's feeling, even though none of the treatments, they haven't even technically started the treatments. I know Michael at the beginning was trying to boost him a little bit to keep him, I guess stable, or encourage him to heal. But yeah, I don't know why he's stronger now. So I'm sure it's going to be revealed soon. But yeah, so that happened. So Isabel is saved. Maria now knows about the aliens, and she is pissed and I don't blame her. Like, she really was the only one that didn't know at this point. It's kind of sad. Even the bad guys know. It's like Maria's walking around and everyone's like in their secret little clubs, and then they didn't really think to include her, and it's pretty sad. Of course, that's pretty much how it's happened in every version of Roswell. So Roswell, New Mexico should not be any different. But like, yeah, it's an ultimate betrayal to her, because Rosa is an original character to New Mexico, and she was very close with her. So her and Maria were like BFFs, more than her and Liz are. And so the fact that nobody told her that Rosa was alive, and she had to find out by seeing her. And of course, her mother having all these issues, and she thinking her mother's going crazy. Now she thinks she's inheriting it and going crazy. Yeah, that's messed up. And plus, she's sleeping with an alien, and he didn't even bother to tell her. So yeah, to me, it's very valid that she's angry. And she lets Michael know it, and she lets Liz know it. She is not happy, but I mean, just that whole scene was just so raw, seeing Rosa trying to steal alcohol from your bar when she's supposed to be dead, that's messed up. And then realizing that everyone that you trusted, all of your friends that you thought were so close to you, have been lying to you this entire time. So yeah. Valid. And then of course, the biggest thing besides Valenti, which I'm going to get to, well, that wasn't really big, but she's still on her crusade to find out what happened to Noah, which was funny. I'll get to that in a minute. But the flashbacks that I mentioned earlier, where we have Jason Beer, who plays Tripp, who was a soldier at the time, who basically approaches Michael's mother. And he's not as bad as the other guys in his unit, but, the other ones are kind of trigger happy. So, but he attempts to help her and then capture her. And it doesn't really go well for the rest of the unit. And he basically, because of that encounter, he's never the same. But we do see that Michael's mother is there, and there's another blonde there, and that they have the children, which we now know are Isabel, Max, and Michael in pods in the back of a truck. And both of them are injured. Like, Michael's mother was shot, I believe it was in the shoulder. And then if that is Isabel and Max's mother, she was shot in the chest. And they go driving and, to get away from the soldiers, and they drive their truck to this farm. And I swear, this is probably my theory, but I'm pretty certain I'm right. I think that is Maria's grandfather, which would be her mother's dad. And therefore, that's their connection. And when they get there, they say, he says, let me help you. And then you see a picture that Michael shows Alex in the episode, where it's the same farmer and his mother, and they're like taking pictures by like this pumpkin like contest. And for a whole year, she blends in with the rest of the people in Roswell. That I'm guessing she stayed with him. So my question to all of this is, did he have a baby, which would have been a hybrid, with Michael's mother? And if that's true, then that would mean that, I hope I'm wrong, that would mean that Maria's mother is actually Michael's sister. That's which means he's been sleeping with his niece. I'm just throwing that out there, but that would be severely messed up. And don't say that can't happen, because I've seen this happen where people are revealed to be siblings when they actually had a relationship, and it's very creepy. I'm hoping that it doesn't get to this point, but yeah. That's one way to resolve the Malik Michaela love triangle, because you don't really want to keep it in the family. So just putting that out there. I don't know if it's true. He could be somebody completely random, but the only reason I'm saying this, and please fact check this, in season 1, when Maria and Liz are sitting up on I forgot what the name of that thing is. Not, I guess it's the roof of the bar, or like the water tower. Maria says, she makes a comment saying it was hard for her to live in that town like Rosa. They understood each other because she was the only black student and a black family in Roswell. And I'm like, if her family is the only black family in Roswell, then you put 2 and 2 together. I'm just saying. Now, the writers could have dropped the ball and they could have completely forgotten about that. It's not like we haven't seen that a million times in other shows. But if they are keeping true to continuity, that's nasty. Just putting it out there. And then finally, Valenti, Sheriff Valenti. She, on her mission to figure out what happens to Noah, in the picture, she keeps bringing up the fact that his arms had like these indentions, like they've been bound, like with handcuffs or zip ties. And she goes and she approaches Isabel, who's like, oh, I'm sick with the flu. And she's like, well, that's cool. And I'm like, this has got to be pre-COVID. But, so Valenti goes in and she's like showing these pictures to Isabel, which is kind of messed up because this is a grieving widow. And even if you think she's hiding her brother, that's still messed up. But she shows the pictures of Noah's dead body and the indentions on his wrist. So Isabel goes and gets a box and tells her to open it. And when she opens it, it's a bunch of sex toys, including the handcuffs that she snatched from Max, which was awesome. That was a brilliant alibi because Isabel is extremely good at lying. But yeah, she manages to gross out Valenti because she's like, yeah, I don't want to use the plastic handcuffs. These are so real. It's like, all right, TMI. So that gets Valenti to back off. Probably not for long. She's probably going to find something else out. Maybe she'll start working with Alex's dad, because Alex's dad is, he's freaking loco. I mean, I kind of see that when they first approached the aliens, they did get attacked and a lot of people died. But I mean, they were approaching first. But I guess, it's kind of like a 50-50 because the guards did take their guns down when they were distracted by the woman. And then another alien came and blasted them all. You don't see his face. Or her face, his or her face. I think it was a guy, though. I'm not sure. I don't want to say that there were all women in this UFO that crashed. I think there had to have been men, because hence Noah was there. So, and it could have been Noah. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that Alex's dad was a jerk anyway. So, I mean, he even had that look on his face like, I am a man poop. So walking around like he's entitled. So I don't like his character at all. And I thought it was funny when Alex was pretending to, I'm all in for your cause now, to try to get him to talk. And that's how he got the name Tripp and went and told Michael about it. But yeah, if Sheriff Valenti and Alex's father kind of hook up and, she's kind of informed on what's really going on, I would really love to see the repercussions of that. But yeah, outside of that, we didn't see Kyle at all in this episode, or the new girl, Steph, who, made her appearance in the last episode, I believe. I think I talked about it. And we know Max is coming back. I mean, come on. He's a main character. He has main character insurance. So it's just a matter of how they get him back. But outside of that, it was a pretty good episode. A lot's happened. I'm glad that Maria knows now, but I want to know where it goes from here because she is PO'd. And I would love to know who gave the mother those boots. I think that's probably standing out in my mind or as a mystery more than anything else right now. Who's messing with Maria's mom? So, yeah. Very good episode. I would love to know what you guys think, so please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to know who's next in the nerd bell, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.